Now, the Reserve Officers Training Corps resumed training this week on Harvard. It's after a 40-year hiatus. And we have Jennifer Levitz in Boston to tell us all about that historic shift. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Kelly.
Now, 40 years, I understand this dates back to the Vietnam War and then continued. Talk to me a little bit about the history of this dispute and why this shift is so notable.
Well, like you said, around the Vietnam era, there was a lot of protests on campus across the United States, as everyone knows. And at Harvard and other Ivies, a lot of that, the target was the ROTC. And so the ROTC left Harvard around 1970, and then the university later de-recognized them as an official group. And this controversy continued over the military's policies on gay soldiers. Now, when students could still go to ROTC, but they'd have to go to another campus. And when Harvard President Drew Faust came in...
We see that actually you were there. We were looking at some video there of some of these resumed exercises.
Yeah, they started yesterday. It was their first PT on campus, and they got there at, it was still dark, and they had their Army issued shorts and t-shirt and reflector belts on, and they were out there doing calisthenics. And it was really moving because it was the first time that ROTC had been on campus doing any kind of training exercise in decades.
And now I understand you mentioned that several of the Ivies had some concerns, and now 3 of them have allowed ROTC back on campus. Is that correct?
That's right. Brown University debated this and came out with a report last year and saying they weren't going to change anything right away. They had gotten input. They still had some concerns, and so, but they all said after Don't Ask, Don't Tell, several of them said we're going to look at this, and it's all coming to fruition this fall. Yale's doing a ribbon cutting later this month. Columbia's opening a new office for their ROTC right in the Student Center. So you're going to see ROTC take a much more visible posture on these campuses, which is going to be really interesting.
And now I understand that Harvard students could always have joined. They just would have to go to another college campus. What's the impact for them now that operations are allowed back on campus?
Well, I think for one thing, it will be more convenient. It will be easier for them, and they'll feel more like a part of a Harvard ROTC unit. But I think the bigger thing is it's going to bring a lot more visibility to ROTC. Some of them told me that when they'd wear their uniforms around campus, their fatigues, students just would say, "What are you doing? You know, who are you? What do you do?" And they felt a little. They always felt accepted, but they felt like curiosities. And so they're hoping that they're to teach other students about the military.